Hello, my name is Roland Netzer, and I will be covering cohabitation in later life. So what is cohabitation? Cohabitation is a living arrangement between two or more people who are not married. While cohabitation is most commonly seen among couples in romantic or sexual relationships, it does not necessarily have to be. The important thing to keep in mind throughout this entire presentation is while most of the data that I will be covering is over the most common circumstances that people cohabit being in relationships, inevitably why someone chooses to cohabit comes down to their own personal decisions, much like any other life choice. And for that reason, we see a great deal of variety in the results of cohabitation. A group of older women may choose to live together simply for the companionship, though this is not a very common occurrence. A very popular example of this that you can see in culture today is the Netflix show Grace and Frankie. So cohabitation has seen an overall growth in popularity and acceptance in recent years, and that includes in older adults. Here's a chart that does a great job of showcasing just how much it has grown in adults over the age of 50 in the past 2 decades. Some of the reasons for this include that there are more older adults who are unmarried. There have been a larger amount of gray divorces happening in later life, making a much larger pool of older adults who are seeking companionship. Another reason could be that traditional views of marriage are also fading with time. As cohabitation is becoming much more socially acceptable as an alternative to marriage, it is seen as much more of a viable option for older adults. So this figure on the right-hand side comes from an article published in November of 2019 that outlined the results of a survey done by the Pew Research Center. It examines how people view the idea of couples living together long-term without the guarantee of marriage. It shows that younger adults are generally more accepting of cohabitation and older adults see a higher value in marriage. This potentially reflects the more traditional values that older adults can have. It is substantial in adults over the age of 65, but from ages of 50 to 64, the majority is much less drastic, which may show how the rates of cohabitation have grown. We can likely see in the near future that as the people in the age group of 50 to 64 get older, we see rates of acceptance of cohabitation go up in those older adults. Now, for those older adults who are in relationships where they don't want to marry but still hold those beliefs of not living together without being married, there are still other options. The most popular being living apart together, which is just like it sounds. They commit to their relationship, but they still choose to live apart, which is still another viable option for people who want to keep their values of marriage and living together alive while still keeping their relationship that they don't want to marry in. So who is cohabiting? A very large majority of older adult cohabitors have been previously married. A study pulled from data in the United States in 2017 showed that 89% of older cohabitors were previously married. The majority of older adult cohabitors are also male and have only a high school level of education, though both of those majorities are not by a significant margin. Men outnumber women by a little less than 10%, and high school education level represents a majority by less than 5%, according to that same 2017 study. So why cohabit? Why are people choosing to cohabit? Cohabitation has actually been shown to help increase overall happiness and life satisfaction in those who choose the lifestyle. A study conducted in the United Kingdom took data from the British Household Panel Survey, which is basically a large-scale longitudinal study of sample households in Britain, and it showed that happiness and life satisfaction levels in cohabiting couples was just below that of married couples, just above that of people who had never married, and remarkably above those who were once married, which you can see in the bar graph just beneath this lovely couple here. We often see it as a prelude to marriage in younger couples. People cohabit just before they intend to get married, and this can also be the case in older adults for similar reason. There are also possible financial benefits to cohabiting. You get the companionship without losing alimony from previous partners that you may have had. It is important to keep in mind that if this is a point of consideration with why you or a loved one is considering cohabitation, that this does vary by which state you live in. I found a table that breaks down just where those laws with regards to alimony and assisted financial from separated partners lies with regards to remarriage and cohabitation, and that can be accessed through the link at the bottom of this slide. Here are my references. Thank you so much for watching this video.